thank you, Army, for the love, patience, and support that never stop flowing. Thank you for always being there, for waiting, and for believing. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss every new story filled with emotion, surprises, and precious moments about Jimin and Army. Because what happened this time was not just an ordinary live, but a meeting of hearts that left millions of people silent and full of questions. What was Jimin really trying to convey when he suddenly appeared live and looked into the camera with an expression different from usual? Was this simply a casual greeting? Or was there a hidden message he slowly wanted to reveal to Army around the world? From the very first second the screen lit up, the atmosphere immediately changed. There were no loud cheers, no overwhelming excitement, only a warm stillness, as if every Army was holding their breath, waiting for something big to happen. Jimin appeared calm and simple, yet that simplicity was exactly where his strength lay. No grand stage, no luxurious lighting, just his face, his voice, and an emotional connection that felt incredibly real. The first clue came from the way he greeted everyone. His voice was soft and gentle, as if he wanted to make sure every word truly reached Army's hearts. He smiled, then paused for a moment. That brief silence only made the curiosity grow stronger. What was on his mind? Why did his gaze feel so deep? And when he finally said thank you, it sounded different. Not like a routine phrase or a formality. There was emotion being held back. Feelings that wanted to come out but were still carefully guarded. Jimin mentioned Army not just as fans, but as a reason. The reason he keeps going. The reason he stays strong. And the reason he is still standing here even when the journey is not always easy. The live slowly turned into a space of honest and emotional confession. Jimin didn't speak at length, yet every sentence carried weight and meaning. He shared stories about days that felt lonely, about times when he had to stay silent and keep many things to himself, and about how simple messages from Army often became light in his darkest moments. The emotional drama did not come from major conflict, but from pure and sincere honesty. Many Army admitted they got goosebumps, some even shed tears, because they could feel this was not a script, not an image being created. This was Jimin speaking from his deepest heart. The surprise began to unfold when Jimin started reading Army's comments one by one. He mentioned several messages, laughed softly, then fell silent again. Every small reaction made Army feel seen and appreciated. Wasn't this what they had always longed for? An idol who doesn't only shine on stage, but also shows up as a human being who is willing to listen. The way Jimin nodded gently, smiled faintly, and stared at the screen longer than usual became a clear sign that this live meant something deeper to him. There was a moment when Jimin suddenly laughed and briefly covered his face, as if embarrassed by his own emotions. Yet that very moment made the atmosphere even warmer. Army felt closer, as if the distance of thousands of kilometers had completely disappeared. Behind their screens, millions of hearts were connected by the same feeling. Jimin didn't say many grand things, but the way he showed up was already enough to explain everything. Questions began to fill Army's minds. Why did this live feel different? Why did every word Jimin spoke seem to carry more emotional weight than usual? Was this a sign that he was going through an important phase in his life and career? Or was this his way of sending a signal that the relationship between him and Army is not just that of idol and fan, but a bond that strengthens each other? As the live neared its end, the emotions only grew stronger. Jimin said thank you once again, this time with a deeper tone. He said that Army's support is something he never takes lightly. There was another pause, another long look into the screen, as if he wanted to memorize faces he couldn't see directly. And that was when the emotional surprise happened. Without excessive words, Jimin expressed feelings that may have been difficult for him to say before. That army is his home, the place he returns to, and the reason he keeps moving forward. The live ended without big sensations, without shocking announcements. Yet that was exactly why it left such a deep impression. Simplicity, honesty, and sincere emotion became the core of that moment. ARMY left the live with mixed feelings. Happy, touched, and slightly sad that the moment had to end. But one thing was certain. That night became proof that the bond between Jimin and ARMY remains as strong and as deep as ever. And perhaps this was the biggest surprise of the live. Not what was said, but what was felt. A brief meeting through a screen, yet one that left a long-lasting mark on the hearts of millions. Jimin once again proved that his presence is not only about music and popularity, but about feeling, honesty, and an irreplaceable emotional connection. And ARMY were reminded once more that every support, every comment, and every love they give truly reaches him and truly matters. And even after the screen finally went dark, the impact of that live did not fade. Social media was instantly filled with reactions, screenshots, and emotional messages from ARMY, who were still trying to process what they had just felt. Many said the live felt like a quiet hug, something gentle yet powerful enough to stay in their hearts long after it ended. Others wondered if Jimin himself realized how deeply his simple words and expressions had touched so many people at once. There was no dramatic announcement, no hint of a new project, and no loud celebration. Yet the atmosphere felt heavier than any big reveal. That, perhaps, was the strongest clue of all. Jimin didn't need grand gestures to make his presence meaningful. His sincerity alone was enough to create a moment that felt personal for millions of people watching from different corners of the world. In that live, time seemed to slow down, allowing emotions to surface without being rushed or hidden. Some ARMY noticed how Jimin's eyes softened whenever he read certain comments, how his voice slightly changed when he spoke about gratitude, and how carefully he chose his words, as if he didn't want to say the wrong thing to the people he cherished most. These small details became quiet signals, subtle hints that there was more emotion beneath the surface than he was willing to fully show. And maybe that was what made the live so unforgettable. Not everything was explained. Not every feeling was spelled out, leaving space for ARMY to feel, interpret, and connect in their own way. As discussions continued online, one question kept returning. Was this live a reminder, a réassurance, or a silent promise? A reminder that Jimin is still there, still thinking about ARMY even in quiet moments. A reassurance that the bond they share has not weakened despite distance and time. Or perhaps a promise, unspoken yet strongly felt, that no matter what changes, that connection will remain. In the end, the live became more than just content. It turned into a shared memory, a collective emotional experience that ARMY will remember whenever they think about Jimin's gentle smile and calm voice that night. It proved once again that the strongest moments are not always the loudest ones. Sometimes, they are born in silence, in honesty, and in the courage to simply show up as oneself. And maybe that is why this live will continue to be talked about. Because it wasn't about what Jimin did, but about how he made people feel. Seen, appreciated, and deeply connected. A simple live, yet one that quietly reaffirmed a bond that words alone can never fully explain.